Alright, there we go.
Mine was
Good
very
enough.
small.
We'll
Really
fix
good
it in
enough. That
post.
was perfect.
We fix everything in post. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cosmik Podcast. This is episode number 54. Tonight you're joined by 4 of your regular hosts. It's of course me, Bram. Jaimy's here.
Yo.
Carlo is also here. And Cabe.
Hello.
Tonight we're also joined by a very special guest. Big UK lad.
True. Big UK lad, true. Everyone
UK
knows
lad.
me. Every man knows the UK ways. It's me. Hello. Sorry to derail your podcast a little bit, but
That's all
your
good, man.
mate Carlos is a very enthusiastic man.
I was about to say, Carlos is scaring off our guests, bro. What the fuck?
Carlos is always just like,
we're gonna
he's
get
super
along
talkative,
greatly,
and
us,
then
you
intro
know.
is like,
No,
Yeah,
Carlos
nah, it's-
actually, once he gets into it, he's gonna never stop
Just-
talking.
just wait until somebody says something about a game that he disagrees with.
Exactly.
He's off. He's off.
Ah, yes, I can't wait. See, me and Carlos are going to get along really well.
Yeah.
Because I felt that on an emotional level. Like he's just like, yep, he's just sort of happy to just be vibing there in the corner, and I feel that that's a good energy. I like that. It's the
good
guy
vibe.
you want. It's the guy who knows how to bring the chill. I like that. So,
Exactly. He brings a chill unless he's angry.
that or he just hates my guts, which I also understand completely.
No.
There you go.
Jesus Christ.
He's plotting my death. You can see it in his eyes. He's doing it.
Mayhaps,
He's ready. He's
mayhaps.
ready. He's ready to do me in. That is the way.
That's how I felt the first time I met Carlos too. I was like scared. I was like, oh
You're
shit, why is he
terrified
looking at me like
about
that?
I'm very intimidating.
Yeah, true.
It's love. It's passion. Is what it is. It's just deep down. And eventually, one day, he will come and emerge, and he will give it to you. It will be a gift. And honestly, we all wait for that day. Even me. I've been here a whole of 5 minutes, and I'm already looking forward to that day.
Nice.
I'm
What a
not.
great way to start.
How are you going to get onto gaming from that? Like, how is that going to happen? Like, I am very fascinated by how this podcast is going to work now. So, yeah,
Honestly,
by the way,
same.
it is good to be here. I want to say that out loud. It's good. Thank you for inviting me on and all that stuff.
Thanks
of
for
course.
coming on, man.
No
That's
problem.
really nice to have
No
you.
problem.
Exactly.
Quite happy to come on and discuss the gaming with gamers, and that's what
Gamers.
and
It's
that's
just
what
like
passionate
Razor's
about.
Great
tagline.
segue.
By gamers for gamers.
Yes,
Exactly.
the podcast is by the gamers for the gamers.
For
We're gonna get
gamers.
sued by
That's what
Razor.
Yeah.
Put it on a shirt.
We're definitely gonna get sued.
It's
then.
all.
Redbubble merch.
Oh God. Redbubble merch.
It's a
Here's some
fascinating
merchandise
rabbit
that definitely was not produced by slave labor.
All right.
I don't know if it
nice.
is. I just want to put that out there. I'm not saying that it is necessarily, but it might as well be.
hole. It probably
It
is.
probably is. Yeah.
Ethical practices? Nah. You know. Not
Never
happening.
heard of them, bro.
Never heard of ethical practices. It's just not happening that.
Exactly.
I will have you
Alright.
know that ethical practices are expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like the people.
That's
making
even
the
harder
articles.
to now like turn into the gaming topics. You know, it's harder now.
Talking about ethical
Harder.
practices, actually, we can really roll that into.
Oh, yeah,
hashtag
actually,
hold
true,
Ubisoft
true.
Accountable.
You really saved that masterful segue, and I just want to take a moment to appreciate it. That was tremendous.
I'm the real professional.
You're a real
That
professional.
was good.
Yeah. No, I get you.
I'm the one that scripts the show behind the scenes.
It's all scripted. Yeah, we've got
Script.
like transcript. I'm reading from it right now.
It's all scripted.
It's all my lines that I've got to say for the next however long this podcast is going to be.
Even this is scripted.
It's my biggest acting role that I've ever had, which is not a very difficult repertoire because I'm not an actor.
It's on IMDb.
There you go. Oh God.
All right,
So, back to your segue.
Yeah, so for everyone that's listening and that's not in the know, if you're not, let me roll you up real quick.
Ubisoft is the literal devil.
Thank you, Carlos, for that.
That's the short version. The long version is basically, turns out a couple people at Ubisoft are kind of pieces of shit, you know, harassing women, being racist, etc.,
I thought they fired him.
Allegedly. they dealt with him, basically, is what they said. But basically, they just, like, moved him around, put him into a different division. One of the guys is apparently, like, head of HR, who's, like, being a piece of shit, which is kind of ironic.
A division that won't complain.
It's human resources in it. So there you go. I think the thing with HR from that article that released via gamesindustry.biz recently is saying that a lot of the HR team is the same as it was before these allegations came out. The same are the people who had dealt with these allegations in-house and sort of just swept them under the rug a bit. I believe that's what it's trying to say, though. I wouldn't quote me on that because I may be wrong. However, that's how it comes across, and that's a bit rough. And beyond that, you've got some desire to move forward by the company is perceived by this article or the investigation or something like that. Like, the company doesn't want to address it, basically. They don't want to actually change. They just want to say, we've implemented these small solutions and then move on. That's my interpretation, anyhow. And I don't think you can do that when, as your mate rightly put it, Ubisoft is the literal devil.
Yeah. It's kind of fucked up, honestly.
We here at Ubisoft are very sorry of these allegations.
Please buy our next Assassin's Creed game.
We have made an effort to implement changes in our workplace.
Tell them to stop. Tap them on the fingers.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's
kind of bad.
Yeah.
Just kind of bad.
Wait, did we talk about the first time it came out? We did, right?
Yeah, we talked about it the first time it came out as well.
That was
wow.
And we were like, Ubisoft needs to change their stuff up, and now, well, here we are.
Yep,
Yeah.
you made a podcast. Here we are.
Influenced the timeline.
You've changed more than Ubisoft has. So there you go.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it's
There you
When do
go.
we start getting multi-billion-dollar contracts?
I don't know. You might want to ask Ubisoft about that one.
Oh, hell yeah.
What's this about? How do you manage to do this? How do you manage to pull it off? They'd be like, listen, kid. We make Assassin's Creed.
Copy-paste everything.
or something along the lines of Assassin's Creed, because it's not really looking too great these years. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but
Nothing that they put out looks too good, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
been
be
going
honest.
downhill. Just
Listen,
kinda.
kid,
I was a
we
big
make the
Ubisoft
same
fan,
generic open
but-
world game 5 times a year. And we also rape.
Jesus Christ! That was
Nice. Okay.
holy shit! All right, we found a good guest, boys. the humor's
Well,
on par with us. Just
well,
as fucked.
You're welcome. I always test the waters and see what people when I get invited onto podcasts that aren't mine. I always test
You
the
can
waters.
get away with everything on the
to-
show.
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
completely
yeah.
honest.
We
Do
don't.
not tell me
something-
that.
If something really fucked up is said, we'll cut it out, and we'll be like, "Hey, do you really want this out?" You know,
Yeah.
we'll double check. Like, do you really want this?
Yeah, no, it's
I'm gonna
okay.
buy some lawyers, you know.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
At this point, I've got a rough idea of where I can and cannot go with my jokes. So far we're on a roll. I reckon we'll keep with that.
The only thing that's
Unfortunately,
respect is to
unfortunately, on a serious note, this Ubisoft, the allegations from last year and all of that, it's not really that much of a laughing matter. So
true.
I do try to keep it a little bit temperate, but we did have to test the waters with that one. But
Definitely.
unfortunately, on a serious note though, Ubisoft needs to change before I can consider buying or consuming, talking about, or even playing any of their games ever again. And
Yeah.
I can't support this company. While they're doing not while they're doing what they're doing. I don't think that's the right word because these are allegations, remember. But while we don't see at least clarity here and an actual change, if you know what I mean, and I want to hear about that change and I want to see that change. And you'd think, right, I think the best way to see that change is to hear about it through the actual people who work at the company. Because if this article is to be believed, it seems like people working within the company don't believe any actual change is going to happen. There are just changes that have been put in place to say, hey, look, we tried.
Ubisoft is one of the most mismanaged companies in gaming.
Yeah.
Probably the most. And I can talk about that from an insider point of view.
Hang
That
Oh, yeah.
company
True.
Juicy stuff. Yep.
is awful.
Sorry, hang on. Are we gonna gloss over that insider point of view?
Game tester, I think it was, right?
I QA
QA.
tested for Ubisoft for about 7 years.
Fuck me. So you know the shit, right?
He did all the garbage games, Wildlands, Breakpoint.
Oh, you're gonna have to. So you can talk. So you're saying from an inside point of view that Ubisoft is mismanaged.
From every angle.
Fuck me. Like I just thought they were raping people.
Like
Now you're
here's
telling
the
me that they're a
thing.
shit company too.
I thought
Because
that was the worst
Ubisoft,
part.
as a company, because when Ubisoft games come out, they're always broken, horrible messes, right?
Mm.
I was the guy, or one of the guys, but I was the guy who found those glitches 6 months before the game came out,
Ah,
and they didn't fix them.
I'll tell you what.
Why would you? Come on.
I'll tell you
People
what.
buy it
Before
regardless.
before the gameplay reveal of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there was a But it wasn't what you were doing, but it was. We got loads of creators got invited to playtest things, and it was just as fucked then as when it released. But back to the point, what you're saying is basically it's mismanaged. So how is it mismanaged? Is it just the games, or do you mean there's actual you've actually seen malfunction in structure and mismanagement of human resources, shall we say?
Literal game devs that I've talked to working on the games either A, have no idea what they're doing
Okay.
in terms of the skill, why was that person hired for that position?
Hmm.
And some have ideas but have no way to, or they can't implement them.
Oh, and why can't they implement them? Because from how it looks is that Ubisoft wants to appeal to a mainstream, and so any
they
ideas
can't
that are
implement them
intricate,
because they're not allowed to.
they're
Not allowed to have an opinion.
any intricate ideas and concepts, that's fucked. So it looks like any intricate concepts and ideas are just not allowed in because that would take it.
They're
into a
not on
niche.
the board
They're not on the board
of
so,
that game.
So you're telling me that that's we've seen this from the outside, and that's exactly how it comes across. So it's fascinating to hear that from the inside. It's
And you know what else is great?
not bad.
When I QA test a game,
Hmm.
for a month, and I talk to certain devs from a certain studio, and then 3 months later, I'm talking to a completely different studio, QA testing the same game.
Is it the same build, or is it just the same build? Give or take the couple of licks of paint.
It's the same game
It's
with a
faster between
slightly
devs,
updated
so-
build.
Are there examples of that you can give, or
Is he allowed
Division
to?
2.
Oh.
Division 2 was probably one of the worst, alongside Breakpoint in terms of development that I saw.
You are throwing some dirt out here. That's what we like. That's what this. I like this guy a lot more. I knew he was going to be my favorite man here, and he already is. Oh god. Yeah. Nah.
stab you?
Yeah. Nah. So, oh god. Ubisoft employees aren't allowed to have an opinion. That in itself. Let's for the briefest moment forget about everything else. That in itself is a little bit counterintuitive to what is essentially a medium of art.
Mm-hmm.
Your opinion, the value of your opinion is based on your seniority, basically.
Ah, okay. Well,
They just got they get told what to do.
Yikes.
Or,
Ubisoft, you're exactly what I thought you were.
Yeah, basically. You know what it
just
comes down to.
mindless robots type shit, do
Yeah,
this,
you
do
just
that.
have to do what you're
Yeah.
told if you're a lower position.
Yeah, I suppose so. In the end of the day, it's a difficult position for those developers because in the end of the day, they have to they have to pay their rent. They have to pay their bills, and so they can't just go. I'm gonna find a company that cares about my passions, because you'll be searching for a long time. Let's be honest. But from that alone, and then you add in the misconduct and things like that, it starts to become. With Ubisoft, it's like, fucking hell, how messed up
and their
is this
business
company?
practices with their games. Every game is full price. Every game has a season pass with microtransactions.
And loads of items that aren't a part of the season pass. In fact, the season pass sometimes costs more money than buying the DLC it gets you individually. I think
Or
one
how about
such
a
case
second
was
season
Odyssey.
pass?
Second season pass. In-game store.
Yeah,
There's
no.
a lot of dog shit in these last Assassin's Creed games, though. What the fuck is up with that?
It's.
I played it on launch Valhalla, and I was like, oh, I don't like that.
Same.
Like 4 ships and like 4 bundles.
Yeah, I think.
Now it's worse, apparently.
Yeah, well, as bad as that is, it seems like these games are almost a product of the culture of Ubisoft, which is what people are taking issue with, which is the entire point of the hashtag #HoldUbisoftAccountable, because this is the same culture that has enabled bullying and other forms of workplace misconduct, including sexual harassment, and some people have come out and leveled allegations of actual sexual assault, and Jesus, So I want to ask you this question: did you? Now, this might be a hard question to outright answer, but it might be an easy one. In your 7 years playtesting was it Ubisoft? Was it for the full 7 years? Was it not? I can't imagine it was just Ubisoft, or was it?
The work I took was just Ubisoft.
Just Ubisoft. So in those 7 years, were you in person often?
No.
No, okay. Fair enough. But you spoke to plenty of developers and things like that.
Yeah, I spoke to like 2 or 3 developers for each game.
Okay. And so when you're speaking to them, were they like drones? Did they say similar things? Did they sound like brainwashed almost?
Some of them were okay, but some, especially in recent years, like for Division 2, I literally, this guy ended up getting fired.
Why? Why did he get fired?
For how he talked to me and some other of the QA testers.
I was gonna say, he talked too much out of the box.
He gave an opinion, did he?
Well,
Not
basically...
Not allowed.
He grabbed you by the scruff of the neck and went, "They're raping us!" And then, alright, got sacked.
Well, no, I told him what was wrong with the game, which is my job.
Oh my god.
And he said
Carlos,
I was wrong and didn't know how to play games.
Oh, blimey. Oh, God.
Yeah. You fall through the map, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You walk weird.
No, yeah, that's...
Cyberpunk was great on launch. What are you talking about?
Holy fuck. So, he got fired for telling you were wrong in that sense. Was that why he was fired? Or was it fired for some other reason?
Well, my manager told me that he was let go because he just didn't do a good job communicating with the QA team.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I wonder how it got to that point. Like, surely nobody enters, the games industry without some form of passion in some capacity. At least on this level, I'd imagine. So... Why do you think he was why do you think he was like that then with you and other testers?
From my experience, at least half of the developers I talked to didn't really have much experience playing games.
Oh, so they're just there for the
Yeah, which there's a lot of people in game development who don't really play games. That's fine.
Ah, fair enough.
But to put somebody in charge of communicating with the QA team, and I'm supposed to relay to them what's wrong with the playing of the game, that's, it made for some very interesting conversations.
How does it even work? Like, how do you say, like, this is wrong, or this can be better? You, like, write it down, or, like...
Well, basically, you fill out a log report of what you were doing, what led up to the glitch, what was the glitch, what happened, just pretty much a play-by-play.
Every individual glitch?
Yes.
And,
oh my god.
And did you often encounter developers who didn't want to know? Like, they didn't want to know anything, that they didn't want to hear about the problems with the game?
Well, there was many days we would be tasked with, okay, we're going to test this specific function. Or this specific thing. And it would come to a thing of, hey, we can't really do this properly because of this thing. And they'd be like, well, that doesn't matter. We're not testing that today. Okay. I mean, it kind of correlates. Like, for example, hey, we're going to test out matchmaking with random players. Well, the party system doesn't work. So...
How do you... How...
Doesn't matter.
We'll fix it later. Patch
6
it.
months after launch.
Yeah.
It's all
People
good
pay
now.
full price now, get the finished product later. That's how we function. What?
Exactly.
What? You know? Shut up. Money. Oh God. Sit down.
Mad.
Sit down. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
We're only
Sounds
20
kinda
minutes in.
fucked
He's
up,
already
dude.
gone.
I've already lost my mind. I am not surprised in the slightest. Because even when dealing with criticism publicly, I've found that a few developers will, I don't like to aim criticism necessarily directly at anybody, but I've seen responses to critical thought and a thought process through why one system is not what it should be, or a bit broken or whatever, and it. More often than not, with a few Ubisoft developers, the response has often been why it's the way it is, rather than any other sort of response. It was, and I get that because it's on their personal, social, and whatever. But often they'd come out of nowhere and just appear. And I'll tell you what, actually, when I reviewed Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the developers from Ubisoft Quebec commented on my review video, in my opinion, your review is not valid because of too much baggage. Because I was an Assassin's Creed fan since 2007, so too much baggage is investment in their series. So I wasn't shocked. I was like, oh, Ubisoft. Oh,
wanker.
Ubisoft. They don't like hearing the negatives, even when they have to. And I know that from I guess a shred of experience, but it must be nothing compared to what you've had to deal with.
Oh, there was a lot of that. Because I knew my place of, listen, I'm here to test the game. I'm not here to review it.
Yeah.
But
you're here to test the game,
people,
tell you what's up.
Yeah, like some people that I worked alongside with like to share their opinions on the game. And they got told to shut up multiple times, and that your opinion doesn't matter regarding this.
Oh,
That's
Ubisoft!
fucked
How
up.
fucking Ubisoft of you! Oh wow! So
Oh, Ubisoft.
now just imagine for the developer that there's probably that exact conversation that goes on at least once every day within that company, somewhere, between people working on the game. From the top down, I suppose. Your opinion doesn't matter. Just do this thing. And oh god, it did begin to show. Because I can quite happily say that there hasn't been a Ubisoft game with an actual soul in years.
Oh no, absolutely not.
There hasn't been a Ubisoft game with an actual soul in fucking years. And so, how can there be a soul when all the passion is driven out of the room when it's being made? And how is it being driven out the room? It's by a fucked up work culture that doesn't value the individuals working, and that plays into the grander Ubisoft issue, that they've enabled that culture, and it's led to some really ugly happenings that we've heard about through these allegations. And they don't seem to want to hold themselves accountable for that, at least not long term. They thought they addressed it, now they want everyone to forget. And so...
Yeah, and the thing is, I saw it happen in real time over the years, of the company going from having like genuine passion with some games and products to everything just being the next piece of content. Because I started beta or QA testing Ubisoft games back when Splinter Cell Blacklist and Assassin's Creed 4 were coming out.
Holy shit.
That's a long time,
It's
dude.
a while ago. Holy fuck.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And I
Blacklist
stopped
existed.
after Breakpoint and Legion. I couldn't fucking take it anymore.
Oh,
What
wow.
a way to go out. Breakpoint and Legion.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you did Legion. Damn.
Oh my god.
I
So-
did half a Legion.
So you stopped.
I-
So you stopped. So you were. So when you say you were a tester for Ubisoft, was that like with Ubisoft, or was that through another, like a
I was-
middle company sort of thing?
I was employed under a company that was contracted by Ubisoft,
like an
but it was
outsource
pretty
sort of
much every game.
It was Ubisoft. They had a
Yeah.
preference, and that was so. So did that translate to the work culture of your own employers then, and how that worked out, or was it a little bit more?
My managers never knew what the fuck was going on.
Okay. Well, I suppose.
I mean,
that makes
they were
sense.
good. They were good managers, but they never knew what the fuck was going on.
I guess it's not their job to know; it's their job to manage the people who know. I don't know how you do
Yeah.
that, but if
We
they
had
managed. They
times-
managed.
There was times. What game was it? Watch Dogs 1,
Oh, fucking hell.
where there were 3 days
Jamie's favorite game.
where
Oh,
everybody
dude.
showed up to work and we had to cancel it because the game wouldn't work at all.
Well, you see,
Okay.
that's the exact state it was released in.
Yeah. Imagine my surprise as I QA test these games for months.
Yeah.
And I buy them on release and find out that nothing was fixed. And if there was problems, especially like Division 2, boy, the game I tested was not the game that released in terms of features. Lots of removed stuff from
Wait.
Division 2.
So the
Oh,
shit
so
they
is that-
show at like
so wait,
E3
it
is
was-
actually in the game?
Would you say that lots of removed
Or-
features? Would you say that it was dumbed down?
The Dark Zone, which was one of the biggest complaints about Division 2 being really boring. Let me tell you, in the QA testing, there was a lot of things going on. And it was really exciting.
And
When
they
it
dumbed
worked.
it down.
Yeah, because they could never get it working.
Oh, because it was broken.
Yeah, they could never get the functions working.
Oh, bloody hell.
Fucking give up.
So,
Bruh.
Just fuck the game. You can't get it to work.
fuck it. We'll stop.
Delete it.
We'll stop we'll make it as simplistic as possible because despite having something interesting here and doing the work to get it to work, we'll just remove everything that doesn't work
Yeah.
because too much doesn't work.
Which it's really funny because that's a game that I referenced the guy getting fired for us telling him how to make it work. Specifically, because I could talk about this because it's not under NDA anymore. As long
Oh,
as I don't mention names.
okay.
So
He'll be at his door tomorrow.
it's so there was a feature.
I
in the
can
Dark
see
Zone.
a red dot on his forehead. They're gonna stop him. They're gonna
It's
stop.
Yves Guillemot himself.
Yeah.
Yves Guillemot with a sniper rifle about
The
200 yards
barracks.
away.
He's sitting there. He's waiting.
He's awaiting that moment.
But there was this feature where you went around and pressed these buttons, and you would get like some high end loot from it, and there would be harder enemies that spawn and stuff. It was pretty interactive.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was a lot of the buttons were in these like hallways that didn't have any like textures in them because they were spawn rooms.
Oh.
And I told the guy, as well as a bunch of other people, that, hey, you can't really press the button because the enemies are spawning right next to it at a rate to where you don't have time to press it. And I was told, no, you don't know how to play the game. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Okay, well, how is it supposed to work? You're supposed to press the buttons in order. Okay, well, this is the button I'm supposed to press next. I can't press it because there's too many enemies, and I don't have time to press it. Well, kill the enemies. They spawn too fast for me to press a button. Well, then you're not doing it quick enough. I'm with a team of 4 people here trying to do this.
What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? Oh my days, man!
Why do they even have like testers if they're gonna?
I love
for
that.
everything?
I love that. So what you're saying is the game is not accessible to people who don't have lightning quick reflexes that can play the game faster than it can physically be played.
Exactly. Yeah,
And they went, you're not playing the game right because we have whatever that does it just fine. No, shush. Oh god.
Yeah, how did they know that it works like the way they intend to?
They didn't know it worked
Like
because
if the QA team can even
It
do
didn't.
it, like what?
Well, they clearly
here's
know
the
it worked, but
thing.
it didn't.
They would put stuff in the game and make sure that if you press a button, it would function to where it would progress.
That reminds me a lot of just programmers that don't like you said, they don't play games. They just program.
But see, that's all they would do. Everything else would fall on to me
Oh,
That's fucked up.
to make sure it worked.
So
and when we would tell them it doesn't work,
so your entire
they wouldn't like that.
so your entire job is basically to point out every technological flaw or every sort of. You're basically meant to exploit the bugs. Is that the whole point of the job? Exploit the bugs
Play
and what
the
works
game.
and doesn't.
Play the game until it breaks. Which this is Ubisoft.
So that takes about
They
5
break
minutes
non-stop.
on a good day.
Keep
So you
breaking the
you
game.
look at the case and it just cracks in two.
The disc just snaps in
It
half.
just has enough. Oh no, I have a mate who snapped the Unity disc, James Lasers, like years and years ago. He just snapped it because he hated that game so much. It was funny. It was funny. It was a joke to us, but
Unity was shit.
no, I think the game after he snapped the disc ran still, not as the disc, but because he left the game on while he removed the disc, and it ran still on his Xbox. And I think that was probably in the 2 minutes he was fucking with that while the disc was in pieces were probably the 2 most bug-free minutes of Unity I've ever witnessed.
That's hilarious.
The game functions better physically broken than broken software-wise. And Ubisoft, you know what I mean? So you're there doing your job and people are getting upset at you for doing your job because it's Ubisoft, basically.
Yeah, it pretty much got to the point with Division 2 where I stopped talking to the devs.
You're like, listen, shut your fucking mouth.
I just started.
Game.
I just started relaying everything through my manager. I'm like, you talk to them.
You talk to them because I don't like them. They're muppets.
Here's my logs. I'm not going to tell them why they're the way they are.
Now, I don't believe this is necessarily relevant, but to the grander point of holding Ubisoft accountable for all the shit that they're responsible for and all these allegations and things. But were there ever any moments where you were speaking to devs who actually knew what they were talking about and wanted to fix problems?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Specifically on Watch Dogs 2 and Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
And what was Far Cry 5?
Oh.
Yeah. Games that are notably pretty good. So it's almost like they had developers that gave a shit.
Oh.
That's right.
It's not necessarily a case I'd make for Watch Dogs 2, but it's good that people actually gave a shit at some point, but I guess in the grander scheme of things, it's not necessarily relevant. Have you done testing for any other companies, like any other publishers, even in your time?
Some mobile games, but nothing.
Some mobile games.
big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing on the AAA scale, nothing to compare.
No, because QA testing is one of the worst jobs you can have.
Fair enough.
It is grueling. It is just.
I'd imagine. Now you have a gaming podcast. How did that not kill your passion? I'm starting to understand why you had no enthusiasm at the start of this episode. So I have to talk about gaming again.
Well, I just don't play Ubisoft games.
Oh, no, I get you. I'm with you now. See, from here on out, no Ubisoft. I feel liberated.
I was already against Ubisoft. I got Legion because Jaimy and Elie, they basically goaded me and they were like, you can play as anyone! And I was like, okay, I guess
I was actually genuinely excited for that feature.
You can play as anyone, and by anyone we mean any stereotypically Britishly named point-sinking Brit.
As well. They all look like Cyberpunk NPCs.
Oh god,
that's
another
Valhalla, which I played for like 2 hours, which I got for
I don't
free,
know why people praise that so much, actually.
Valhalla?
Yeah.
It's just a Viking game, and
I
they've been asking
did
for
not
it for
like
10
that
years.
at all.
So we
Vikings.
better pretend to be happy.
Yeah, no, you got to
were
pretend to
happy,
like
actually.
Ubisoft games, otherwise the Ubisoft gods might come out here and do things to you. They'll come to your house and they'll stick your cat in a microwave or a washing
I thought we
machine.
were talking
Allegedly.
about...
Allegedly.
Okay, never mind.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Thought we were gonna make
they'll
another
stick your
rape
cat in a
joke.
washing machine.
Oh yeah, holy shit! Then they made Immortals Phoenix Rising. Did anyone hear? I mean, I know Coles played that for a
I
bit.
played like the like what was that, the Stadia like version where you could play like the first 10 minutes or some shit of the game. I was like, let's test it. Fuck it.
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
First 10 minutes. Did you get out of the first cutscene then?
Wait.
I don't remember it like at all. I know you could fly. That's it.
The first 10 minutes sounds like they're making people QA test.
Well, and now we've uncovered what Stadia's about. Oh, how this is taken an unfortunate turn. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, from what you've told me, I'll never take a job in QA testing. That's for sure. I'll never recommend anyone take a job in QA testing. If the game release is broken, fuck it. Don't take that job. And they can they can test it themselves, bastards. Just
they do. Assassin's Creed games, all after 4, are done in house.
I fucking wonder why.
They don't want anybody touching that.
Of course they don't.
4 was also the last one with any personality.
And so, how many? Do you know anybody who leaked anything while you were QA testing? Out of curiosity, because
Definitely right.
I saw people get fired live.
some people get fired live.
Yeah, they're just in a Discord call. Hey, get in here.
Sat
done.
there and
You're out.
they just take a picture of what's going on. I just love that because I can't imagine, based on what you've told me, that anybody QA testing had any respect for Ubisoft or or their jobs.
There was some people in the QA testing group that really were Ubisoft fanboys, and it was like, boy, how can you feel that way? You know, seeing the behind the scenes of this.
They still exist now, probably. There's still people out there.
They're probably still there, enjoying sucking the cock of Satan, and
giving Valhalla 10 out of 10s.
Oh God, why would you do that?
I don't get that.
Who?
I don't get it. How they still get good ratings. They're like the Fast and Furious of the games industry.
Fast and Furiously bad. Oh, but there you go.
Shit them out. Honestly.
True.
I think Crossroads would be more fun to play than like any.
I wanna propose a name for a Fast and Furious styled game franchise. You wanna hear it?
Sure.
Rushed and Broken. Here we are.
Ubisoft is gonna claim that.
They'll do it just
gonna patent it.
They'll do it just to spite me. These past couple of days, I have talked my way onto their blacklist. I'm certain of that, and I'm happy to be there. It's a badge of honor.
We're all gonna join that list when this episode comes out.
For sure.
It doesn't. I don't think it. I don't see. I don't think it even matters because I would much rather waste my time with every other company on the planet at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually liked Ubisoft as a company and as game developers, like what they actually made. So I'm actually quite sad about everything. Not gonna lie.
Well, there you go.
I did also. I never like worked for them because I'm fucking 18 now. So you know.
Oh, well.
I was underage when a lot of those games came out. But
you can drink now, though, right?
yeah, I can.
You can drink, and that's more important than Ubisoft. So, get yourself a bev. That's my recommendation. And
I'm just having coffee now.
And that's all that matters. That's all that
devs.
matters. If you bevs before devs.
Before devs.
Hashtag
That's the
bevs
new hashtag.
before devs. That is
Start that shit.
That is a dangerous hashtag. But no, get yourself a nice pint, sit there and think, okay, right, let's talk some shit. And now you've got all the authority on every subject you ever want. It's just being inebriated gives you that edge. Suddenly everything becomes known to you. It's magical, and it's also weird. I've lost my train of thought completely here. Anyway, before we were talking about that, you were talking about how you liked Ubisoft.
Yeah, I actually liked them.
Yeah, and you're a bit saddened by everything.
Definitely, because
Now I couldn't give less of a fuck about their games,
Watch
but I'd like
Dogs
to
1
hear your
even-
thought process.
Even Watch Dogs 1, because I know a lot of people hated that because it got downgraded like crazy, but I still enjoyed the game. Just, I don't know, I enjoyed it. I don't know why.
I suppose I see why.
Just the mechanics itself were like, it was pretty new, I guess, the hacking stuff. There wasn't no one that actually did something like that. And then Watch Dogs 2, I actually did like a little competition thing with Ubisoft where I got invited to the launch event of Watch Dogs 2. And I actually talked to some people that worked at I don't know where, it's in the Netherlands, but I forgot where the studio is located there. But I talked to them and they were super, super nice. They gave me like free shit. They gave me like their card as well because they knew I was pretty passionate about Watch Dogs. I really just enjoyed it. So they sent me like a box of free stuff as well. So I liked Ubisoft as a company, but I've only talked like 2 or 3 people there. So yeah.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. I didn't work for them, like I said. So I
No.
guess that's kind of a big problem if you do work for them.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
You guys think that this whole shit coming out is gonna definitely just like ruin the fun of going back and playing any of their old games?
Yeah, definitely.
For some people,
Because
I think-
this toxic
definitely
work
as
culture
well,
didn't.
yeah.
There's this. Don't make no mistake. This stuff we're hearing about, it didn't happen overnight. No, it's been decades
been
of this
happening for years.
brewing. So I can't go back and play even the
no.
oldest Assassin's Creed game and not think what was going on while this was being made.
Who was
Yeah.
getting groped?
Yeah.
Fuck
Carlos.
me, bro.
To be
This might
blunt
a
about it,
Patreon exclusive.
yeah. To be blunt about it, I suppose so. But no, I can't go back and play old Ubisoft games, even ones I liked, and not think to myself, I genuinely do not know who was hurt while this game was being made, and if Ubisoft has done anything to address that.
Yeah.
And as much as they may pretend they have, it doesn't seem to me like they have. And
That person's name is still in the credits of the next game.
Yeah. There has to be like actual visual proof. of
So,
them doing
I have a question.
Something about this shit.
I have another question for Carlos. Actually, it's becoming like a two-way conversation slowly but surely. But I would genuinely like to know. So, if you ever make it
Just
to the end of a
disconnect from the
Ubisoft game, you're looking at the credits and you're just seeing all these names listed, and you're just looking at the ones you recognise and going, "Cunt," you know. I just want to know if that's a thing that happens.
I never caught any names in the credits.
There are way too many.
I never looked that hard, but I probably would know a couple games and be like, "Oh, that fucking guy."
Oh, that arsehole. Oh god.
As a prick.
He doesn't know.
This
what
is
he's doing.
this is an interesting angle to learn about. No, this has been really, really insightful in itself. That it goes to all things, doesn't it? The lack of passion from certain developers could be another byproduct of everything else that's been happening, or just how the company's structured and how that management then affects the people working under it and things like that, and how that. And of course, I don't know if it's necessarily all a massive, bigger picture thing. There are arseholes in every single company, especially these big ones. But it is an interesting extra angle to perceive and an enlightening conversation all the same. I'm gonna field it to you guys now. I want to hear your thoughts on Ubisoft and and what you think is the best course of action for people going forward with regards to buying Ubisoft products and things like that, because I genuinely want to know.
I'd say don't buy them, honestly.
I feel that.
I've always dipped my toes in everything Ubisoft. The biggest game that I played Ubisoft is probably Rainbow Six Siege, which is 300 hours of it, and that's it. And then I got bored of it. They started adding too much bullshit in the game. And now recently I played Breakpoint for 10-15 hours, which is it's just mindless shooting. They added the loot and shit, which is kind of useless. I played Odyssey for 2 hours before Valhalla launched, and then I played Valhalla for 3 hours in midnights, and then I was like, okay, uninstall. So I've never really been a Ubisoft fan, I'd say. I don't really think they have made anything exceptional. I know that 4 is a big special game to a lot of people, and from what I can remember, 4 was definitely a fun game. The whole boating around and shit.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
And Watch Dogs 2 is another one that I've heard from a lot of people that is really fucking good, but I still haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm super slow when it comes to playing games.
It's not. I mean, Watch Dogs 2. I wasn't a huge fan of, but I don't think is relevant anymore. It's just what we. All I'm interested in is our thoughts on this, really, and that's what I think is important. Buy the games. Yeah, don't buy the games.
If you want to play them, torrent them. Fuck them.
Yeah, well, I can never. I don't want to tell people what to do, what not to do.
Condone that, but
still. But don't give them money, basically.
Or if you're gonna give them money, don't buy the game.
I wouldn't. Here's why. Here's my logic. I'll tell you why I wouldn't. Look into it and come to your own conclusions. For sure, is what I want to say.
The Ubisoft Plus subscription, by the way, very good if you want to just play the game for 10 minutes and then just go off. It's.
Oh, they have a subscription thing, do they?
Yeah, they have subscription.
Everyone has. A subscription
we used it because Legion and Valhalla released in the same month, so you only had to pay once. $10 $10, and you could play both games in the same month. And of course you get bored then after 5 hours, even less maybe. So yeah,
even collectively.
So yeah, that's actually a very good thing they did, because now you don't have to buy the games at full price. Very nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Buying or not buying the game doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think it matters for a studio that big.
What matters the most is the reviews. I am sick and tired of Ubisoft games coming out and seeing 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. When at best that game's a 6 out of 10.
I mean,
and that's more of a problem with the review industry as a whole, that no game gets rated below a 7. But
Mass Effect Andromeda got a 7 when it launched.
Exactly.
I remember that.
I'm talking
how did it get
big
a 7?
sites.
Exactly.
Also, what does it mean? What does a number rating out of 10 even mean? I mean, I used to do them for old reviews, but now.
Press.
But now I don't actually know what it actually means. What's the criteria for a number rating out of 10, and how does it apply and translate? I stopped doing them when I realised to myself, this doesn't fucking mean anything. You slap a number review on it, everyone forgets what you've said up until that point, looks at the number and goes, yes. And so I think, no, I would rather have the words explain what I think about stuff. So
yeah, but I'm talking if you want the company to change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you gotta money. They're
slap
gonna
them with
make
a
their money
throttle
anyway.
or two. Yeah, they are gonna make money.
They need bad press, because that's what gets the stockholders worried.
Fortunately, I intend to give them bad press and not my money.
Yeah,
in the end of the day, it's about that. I guess it is about giving them that sort of press so that they can. So that they can do anything, but so that we can make some form of stance and have it make a difference, and then have hopefully some form of change happen. It probably won't happen. I'm not gonna pretend. I won't even be optimistic with our chances. But if there is going to be a change, it needs to start with consumers, I believe, and that needs to translate then to what people are saying. A couple of articles have covered the hashtag make Ubisoft accountable and stuff like that, and that I don't think that's necessarily gone far enough to do very much, but as far as like a step in the right direction goes for people, actually just trying to hold Ubisoft to account is one thing, I suppose, and now there's hopefully more will come of it, but I guess it's a long road. It's going to be a long road regardless of which route you take. I doubt a boycott is going to necessarily hold anything. It's just an extra on top of, I can't support this content. I can't sit here and positively praise a Ubisoft game, even if it is good. I can't sit here and have that risk, and so I would rather not buy these games. I'd rather not deal with the company at all. If Ubisoft steps out on microtransactions that I believe are abhorrent, I'll talk about that, but I won't buy the game. I won't play the game. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for Ubisoft I don't have time to enjoy Ubisoft as far as their products are concerned, because how can I enjoy that? I don't know. However, if they continue with malpractices, I'll happily talk about that, because that's playing into what you're saying, which is going after the reputation, which is just as significant.
Reputation matters the most, especially to a company like Ubisoft that everything is a franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that was a weird one. That they came out with like that ages back. It's weird that they were. I guess that's one thing, and it's another thing to not, if you don't want to give this sort of company your money, sort of thing. That's a personal choice. That's why I never want to enforce people to. I would never sit here and say you need to stop giving Ubisoft your money, blah blah blah, because that's not my position to say. However, I will tell you what's going on with Ubisoft and why I don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's a more important thing.
I mean, even if only a couple thousand people say like, "Hey, this is not okay," it's gonna do more or get more attention than just total complacency. Even if Ubisoft, takes notice and doesn't do anything about it, it's gonna raise awareness, at the very least.
Yeah, I don't know why big news no one is really covering it. I feel like, I don't know, that might just be me, but I scroll Twitter every fucking day. I'm just on there mindlessly browsing, doing nothing at all. But I have seen barely anyone talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most.
I don't know why.
Most stuff that I saw is just from either
YouTubers
self-tweeting it or retweeting it. That's the only
exactly.
thing I saw.
Yeah.
So
it's super weird, but
even if you go on YouTube, it's still really weird. One of the first results is the Jim Sterling video from 6 months ago, when the original.
Yeah, it's about a year old, that video now. Yeah, no, I gave that video a rewatch the other day. It sums it up with a lot of backbone, which of course you'd expect from Jim Sterling, and it sort of sums up the issue. Oh God.
Yeah, I think when the actual press starts talking about that, then it's gonna go then it's pretty bad for Ubisoft.
Gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get our head out of our ass.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually something that has to happen for them to actually do something about it. But yeah.
Definitely.
What are they gonna do about it?
Do another thing at E3 saying we're very sorry holding these people
hit
accountable.
Women anymore, please.
Hashtag #MeToo, boys. That's what they're gonna do.
You can't make Ubisoft, unfortunately, morally conscious if they're not morally conscious. No matter which way, no matter what the outcome is with this, Ubisoft will always put their bottom line first. But
like every company.
But you can find a means to steer the bottom line, and if that steers towards people not being bullied, harassed, abused, then I guess that's a positive, and that needs to happen with Ubisoft.
For sure.
100%.
Will it? Probably not. Can't let that deter us, unfortunately.
I mean, it's not a big loss at the end of the day. Ubisoft games are pretty horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I'm sort of done with fucking with Ubisoft in that sense, because I don't have any interest in playing their games either. But there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, up until now, I was sort of in denial, just like, nah. I wasn't saying it would get better. I was just sort of in denial that I could be doing something better with my time. And and I've just come to that conclusion now that I've got so many games out there that I just want to play instead. I'll just play those. This is pretty easy for me in that sense.
There's so many great games out there by so many passionate studios and people. It's like, why support Ubisoft at this point if they're not
exactly? Yeah, but there you go. That's the Ubisoft brew, as it were.
Yeah.
A very unfortunate occurrence a year ago with all those allegations that came out. Unfortunate to us that it happened at all. Unfortunate to Ubisoft that it came out. And now it's just a bit of a shame to hear that nothing's actually really no change is allegedly, well, not allegedly, just apparently no change is perceived to actually be happening. Because you can throw down as many superficial changes as much as you want. They said they revised their code of conduct. So yeah, your code of conduct didn't say you can rape people to begin with, did it?
We updated it. We sent out a memo.
We sent out a memo that says you cannot rape. Please stop sexually harassing people. No.
Leave your rape at home.
that I would love to see. You know what? It could be like, you know those like in like films and comedy, well, in more, I guess, sort of comedy-ish shows, but they're really dark and stuff like that. You have these companies at times that have really, they're almost like a parody of, real companies with corporate, like, whatever rules, and some of them are they're just so explicitly almost anti-real companies. So the rule would be like, do not rape or something like that. And it would just say it explicitly. It would be like, somebody has done this sort of thing.
Then they'd fucking know. Maybe Ubisoft needs to do that, actually.
Ubisoft, what I'm basically trying to say is, though, there's no world in which that original code of conduct went, yeah, sexual harassment, that's calm, that. I don't think that's... So what change is that going to make? None. You hired new people. Brilliant. Do those people give a fuck? Just because you said so does not mean that they do. We've got this external reporting app that our employees can use. Ask the employees of any company with that sort of thing in place. Do they? No. Do they use that? No, is what I'm trying to say.
And why do you need an external?
And why do you need that to be external?
Shouldn't your company be able to handle that?
Shouldn't your company be capable?
Shouldn't you not want to employ those types of people?
Yeah. Why do you need to police yourselves externally? Like maybe that's your maybe that's your indication that your spring cleaning has not gone far enough. You know what I mean? And also, why are people in these positions where that they've either abused or displayed incompetence in with regards to this situation? Why are they still seemingly in their jobs, according to this GameIndustry.biz article? Why are they still there? What's that about? I don't know. Do you reckon Yves Guillemot's cousin's going to come along?
These rapists have a family.
Yeah, that is a brilliant point. You see, I didn't think about the rapees.
I don't know.
Just fire the rapees so they stop getting raped at work.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We're going pretty dark here.
Fascinating. See, this may seem like insensitive joking, but this is actually a good insight into the thought process for Ubisoft higher up. So
it's not far off of how they're actually thinking. It's like, well, there's only one of two ways to handle this. You either hold them accountable or don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
true.
The obvious answer is hold them accountable, by the way.
Yeah. Well, Ubisoft can get fucked and suck a fat cock.
In conclusion.
That's the bottom line on that one.
In conclusion, yeah. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that was a hefty conversation. I've had similar conversations over the past week or so.
Actually, yeah.
It's been a full hour of that.
Usually talk about the guest content on YouTube and how they actually came to be.
That's what I said, bro. We got super lucky with the topics.
So why don't you introduce yourself? What's your YouTube channel?
What are you doing YouTube?
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Fizhy, otherwise known as Ethan, and I make content on the old YouTubes. I also stream on Twitch now, which is good fun. And on YouTube, I post gaming content on topics that I care about, which. That used to be a lot of Ubisoft-related things. Now I'm certain that it won't be going forward. However, I have made quite a lot of content on Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm making quite a fair bit of content at the moment on Mass Effect since the Legendary Edition's released, and other games that I enjoy. I don't talk about myself this much. I don't sit in a mirror and actually figure out what to say. However, I also host a podcast co-host a podcast called the Four Pillars Podcast on the Four Pillars Network and stuff like that, and that's good fun. We love a good podcast. We do. There's so many podcasts that sometimes it feels like a battle. But no, I guess I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember, and. Yeah, now I'm really out of steam. Help, please.
There is another topic we could talk about. Recently was a couple of alleged leaks from within the Rockstar themselves going around that Red Dead Redemption 1, the PlayStation 3 exclusive, might get a full-on remaster for PS5, the new Xbox, and PC as well.
Yeah, the PS3, Xbox 360 generation thing. It's sort of like trapped in that generation, isn't it? So what's the rumor?
Yeah.
What's the rumor? When did you hear it?
I just saw an article pop up saying that some people found stuff. When? Oof, I don't know.
Again?
When's the article from?
Let me.
Because this is where we learned this from 2 years ago.
Probably.
Republished article.
Yeah, these are leaks actually. Like for example, GTA 6. Dude,
if
the fuck?
If it's words on 4chan or Reddit with no evidence whatsoever, it's not a leak. It's a rumor.
It's a Game Rant article.
When's it from?
6th of February 2021.
Oh, okay, it's a few months ago. Well, I can tell you why I don't think Red Dead Redemption is going to get a remaster. That wouldn't discount a remake were it not Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar, in which case I wouldn't hold your hopes up particularly high. However, the reason why it can't be a remaster is I believe because they don't have any references for the actual coding of Red Dead Redemption anywhere. Like, they can't find the references for it. And so you can't really take a game and then change it, remaster it, update it at all when you haven't got any fucking clue what the coding means. So, because of that, I think it was actually an issue before the game launched to begin with. That it was a miracle that they got it working at all.
It's like Ubisoft.
Yeah, but it's a mistake I'm sure Rockstar would only make once. However, they're yet to promise a PS5 update or PS5 and Xbox Series X update for Red Dead Redemption 2, if I am not mistaken.
That's coming. I'm expecting an announcement either this year or next year because GTA 5 got confirmed for, was it November
somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like to
Red
work
Dead's
on these
gonna
things
come.
slowly, don't they? They like to go, right, you have this slightly updated experience, wait a year.
Mm-hmm.
What is gonna be the GTA 5 remaster? Because they're like allegedly they're adding like a lot of stuff apparently.
No, they're not. It's not even a remaster. It's a port.
The trailer they showed wasn't even the trailer they showed.
Call it whatever they like.
Of GTA 5
wasn't the trailer they showed just like it wasn't even
that was
the
PS3.
last generation trailer. It was the year it was the generation before.
Exactly.
Oh my!
Yeah,
they didn't have something to show.
Yeah,
they
didn't start working on it, I think.
Well, evidently, if it's not even releasing until the end of the year, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I think to me that's just peak jokes. you know, it's pretty peak Rockstar. It's people want this, people want this, people want this. These would be banging things. Let's work on our next. Let's sell GTA 5 again.
Shark cards.
And to be fair, right? No, I'm not a huge fan of Grand Theft Auto, whatever. But that game does make them bank.
Yeah.
It's almost logical for them at this point to just fuck everything else off, GTA forever, and just.
I mean, that's what Rockstar wants to do, but there has been push from Take-Two over the past couple years to have Rockstar make some single-player games again, because bad press, and also the other company that Take-Two owns, 2K Games, is incapable of making a game that people want to play.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that one.
What do you mean you don't want to play NBA every year?
Oh yeah, Borderlands 3 turned out great.
Oh yeah, no, Borderlands.
Oh my god!
I loved Borderlands 2 and Borderlands, and I just couldn't enjoy Borderlands 3. I always chalked it down to this is a game that I enjoyed back in day, but there you go.
I like mindlessly grinding more on Borderlands 2 than I do on 3. Honestly, I don't know. 2 has this charm to it.
2 has a charm to it that it couldn't get away with now because it would just get cancelled. It's what happens.
Yeah.
It's that humor to it. It's just entertaining.
Good old 2K published games. What were the great ones of the last generation? Borderlands 3, Battleborn, Evolve. We're all still playing those, right?
Yeah, no, I've
names.
It's funny as I've heard all those, and I've played Borderlands 3 for 2 hours, and that's all I've done with any of those titles.
Battleborn was supposed to be the fundraiser game, right, for Borderlands 3, but then it just died within a month, and that's why it got delayed. Borderlands 3, I think. Right?
Was NBA the one that people paid full price for, only to be slapped in the face with ads in the loading screens?
Oh yeah, dude.
And they do it again every year, and they're like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, we didn't mean to. We left the file in, bro. Calm down.
It was an ad-scadent.
Oh my god, that was bad.
Listen, right? I get it. It's. I guess it's almost authentic to a sporting experience, except in real life. Even on television, there are no loading screens. Oh, imagine forcing players to sit through a 5-minute ad break. We're getting there. We are getting there where it will happen, and it will be those games that do it.
And they'll still keep selling copies because these Muppets.
Yeah, people will buy shit. People will buy shit and eat it. And I'm not just on about games.
Everything.
I'm on about literal shit. People will purchase that and they will consume. I mean, people purchase Ubisoft products. It's not even that bad when you think about it. Is it?
It's definitely less worse than people that go watch every Fast and Furious or Transformers movie.
Why would you do
calling
that?
out China?
I am.
No, you're gonna regret that.
How many Fast and Furious movies are there now?
Enough.
14.
8,
no.
And they have a spin-off as well.
Of course they have a
spin-off. So there's 9, and then the 9th one's coming out, so there'll be 10.
I'm surprised the series hasn't fucking spun out at this point, let alone spin off.
There's the spin-off as well. I don't know if you counted that. Hobbs and Shaw.
That does count. It is canon.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the lore.
Dude, I hate it. There's 20 movies coming out in the next 3 months, and my mom's like, "Hey, you want to go watch this movie?" And I was thinking what's she coming up with? Black Widow, an enjoyable film, Fast and Furious 9. I was like,
no,
get out of my room.
Just no, just
leave
no.
my room.
Disown yourself.
Am I adopted? Please tell me I'm adopted.
Yeah, no. Most of my cinema trips before COVID, cinemas have only just recently reopened actually here. But before COVID, it was just I just go on my ones. I don't deal with people. I only watch films I want to see. No, I'm not going to watch your film about what they made another Bond film. Yeah, no, I'm all right, thanks. I don't enjoy going to the cinema to watch shit, and I don't enjoy watching shit. Even at home, even for a laugh. To be fair, I do on occasion fire up a film that I know is going to be bad and enjoy the shit because it can be funny. But that's usually way after that film's released and it's on a streaming service or something that I just happen to be browsing because I'm bored. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just imagine going through all the effort to leave the house, go to the movie theater, pay money, sit through whatever, get to the movie, just because the people you went with are idiots, and you can't enjoy the movie. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why'd I come here then?
The Star Wars sequels were my wake up call to that one.
God.
Most unfortunately.
Wow. It started really well, honestly. Rise of Skywalker wasn't bad in my opinion.
Wait.
And then Last Jedi just fucking...
None of them were great.
If you could, if I had
Most
to,
of them were bad.
Seven still had potential.
If I had to choose between one of the 3 trilogies to literally burn in a grease fire in bulk, it would be the sequels. I don't like the prequels much, but I would still burn the sequels.
They have charm. They're so bad, it's good.
Yeah, you know what?
They're
If
the
you watch
OGs.
the
I don't like sand, bro.
if you watch the Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord theory videos and then watch the Phantom Menace, it's almost enjoyable. It's almost fun. The film makes more sense with that context, even if it's not actually accurate. But it's more enjoyable because you start to notice that Jar Jar Binks is just fucking up to shit. And so you can justify that character existing on such an important diplomatic mission. But no, I can enjoy those films because they're, like you said, they're so bad they're good. They have charm. But these new ones don't have charm.
Yeah.
They try to.
They try to have charm, and that's exactly why they don't
doesn't.
have charm.
Rogue One's the best Star Wars film they made in the last 5
Rogue
years.
One's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Everybody agrees with that.
Mhm.
Not even Solo is like all that wow.
Solo is the only Star Wars movie I've seen once, and I'm going to keep it that way.
I don't blame you.
You watched the what's it called? The
Yes,
ninth
I've seen the new
last-
trilogy 3
Not
times.
the Last Jedi. What?
Yes.
3 times.
3
Fucking hell.
times?
I'm a degenerate. I watch a lot of things.
I don't even remember what the last Star Wars film is called. Episode 9.
You
The
said
Rise
The Rise of
Yeah, 'cause
Skywalker.
You,
that's the
I
one.
think you,
Literally said it.
yeah, you kind of fucked up. I think you meant, fuck.
The Last
Yeah.
Skywalker is what I said, yeah.
Yeah, you said it was actually pretty decent, but you meant The Force Awakens, I think, right?
No.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said
The
he
Force
meant
Awakens.
to say The
The
Last
first
Jedi.
Mhm.
Uh,
Dude, the names
was
are so
decent.
hard.
Why?
You're
Just
so
episode
generic.
7 was decent.
Yeah.
8 was garbage, and 9 was...
no,
No, yes, exactly.
9 was
They're all
no. Yeah,
terrible.
just no.
they're all awful.
Have we talked about Bad Batch on an episode yet?
We have
I
not,
haven't
but we'll
watched
probably do
it.
it next week. Because
Yeah.
we
I mean,
won't
it
have a guest
hasn't
on.
done anything yet.
Yeah,
True.
it's just kind of getting started.
I
I
haven't
mean,
watched a
I
single
think it's
episode
best
of
to
that.
wait.
Omega's
Wait-
already
wait
getting
till
on my
that's
fucking
over.
nerves. I'm gonna be completely honest, fellas.
Omega, shut the fuck up. Your name's Omega.
It's Omega, you dumb twats. Literal
Nice.
child. Should have been killed in Order
Are
66.
you sure it's just not the the Australian accent that's causing the
No, it's the fact
pronunciation?
she's a fucking child.
Yeah.
It's
I was
it's
so
a,
excited.
it's such
I
a
was so
Star
excited
Wars
at the end of
trope, isn't
episode
it?
2. I
It-
thought she was gonna get on the ship and get the fuck out of the season. but
It's
no.
such a Star Wars trope at this point to go, right, here are some characters, let's throw a child in the mix. And there you go. It's what they do with everything. You've got it in
The child.
in the Clone Wars, you've got that with Ahsoka. Arguably done
Whoa.
well later on.
Ahsoka did grow out. to be
Ahsoka
her
turned
own-
into an actual good
okay,
canon
Yeah.
character.
season 1. She
Yes,
was
but to begin
the
with, it was the
annoying
same.
kid
It is the
character,
same
but
trope.
Yeah.
she evolved.
In the Bad Batch, you've got Omega, and then of course Rebels, you've got Ezra.
Mhm.
And in the sequels, you got Rey.
In the sequels, you've got BB-8 is the main protagonist of that one. Oh god, why do they do that? Why do they always throw like a dusty ute in the middle of everything and go, right, you're in the
Because
middle of...
that's what Star Wars is at the end of the day. Star Wars is trope. Just
Star Wars trope in itself. Throw a child in the mix.
Trope.
If it's animated, throw a child in there. That's it.
I mean, that's just kind of the thing with it, and that's what can be frustrating about watching it is
Where's the
that's what
child
it
coming
is.
from? Where is the child coming from?
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, you've had the child. They just gave up. Didn't even give this one a name for a whole season. The child, and it is the trope, isn't it? It's just lob a child in there somewhere, and the jobs are good. And to me, that's just not interesting anymore.
Granted,
Yeah,
for Mandalorian, it did work out.
I don't know if it did, see, because it started to.
Well, it worked
bore
out
me
because it had a
greatly.
good writer.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Dave Filoni saved Star Wars.
Well, none of
Make
that
these...
guy
write a trilogy.
The Clone Wars had some well-written
They
bits.
promoted him, didn't you hear?
The Clone Wars had lots of well-written bits. Rebels had its moments, but it had lots of filler. Bad Batch so far isn't bad. It's not that it's bad; it's just that it's predictable.
Yeah.
You know. So where's the child
It's
coming
gotta
from?
lead
I
up
feel
to
like
something.
it's more geared towards kids that.
I don't know
than
if it is
Clone
geared in
Wars
that way, though.
was.
I don't know if the Mandalorian is necessarily geared towards kids. It's like a Western style. It's like a Western style with other things, not exclusively Western, but it takes some concepts from like old samurai movies as well, and stuff like that. And I don't think that's geared towards kids necessarily, and yet the trope still finds its way in. I understand why it is. It's like it's an angle in. It's the character is used to basically be a newcomer's eyes, and if that's a child, then that's almost needed sometimes, that perspective of a child, and that's how that applies to more or less that. The reason why it's not in the Mandalorian is because that child is illiterate as fuck and can move about 5 feet before something kills it.
Oh man, that's offensive against that child's race.
Green Goblin.
It's just a goblin, that thing. Not having it. But no, that's sort of the that. But in every other child trope, that child character is the character that is there as sort of an introductory character to what's going on, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't need to know what comes before because this child is here. It's a new story.
Yeah, Star Wars usually has better writers and characters and a world to carry the rest of it on, so it gets away with it.
Yeah. Classic Star Wars.
But then other things try to do it, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Turn that off.
Turn that rubbish right off now. Yeah, I get you.
You know, like The Last of Us.
Sorry, we'll be talking about The Last of Us.
No, I'm just baiting.
Unless you want to talk about The Last of Us.
I honestly no, because I don't care, because I don't like zombie tropes at all.
You play them?
I did play them, yeah, but I would never play them again. Like they're I think they're okay, they're serviceable, but I don't. It's not something that I like lose sleep over going, fuck, that was so good. Because while I can see why you'd think that, I just go, not for me.
You
really.
keep hitting those home runs, Sony. Another big exclusive.
Well done, Sony. I do see
Bring
why
the
people
PC,
like
you
it.
fucking retards.
No.
Christ.
I do
gotta
Buy a
already.
PS5. Oh wait, you can't.
I'm gonna get on a plane to beat your ass.
So where is everyone based then? Just out of curiosity.
Belgium.
Yeah,
Belgium.
for me too.
Belgium.
Oklahoma.
Real excited to be
Yeah.
there.
And sorry, where?
America.
New York.
Yeah.
Whoa, doxing me, dude.
Yeah.
Upstate New York. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Eve is gonna be there real quick.
Well, Manchester. So, you know, we're on some gang shit tonight. I can see got a couple of Belgians, and we've got a Manchester man right here. We've got someone from Oklahoma, somebody from upstate New York. I'm gonna call us the fuck off 5.
Is that the new show we're
I like
announcing?
it. I like
Starting
it.
next week? It's just 3 podcasts.
Blimey, how many
All of
podcasts
them
do you guys do then?
Just this one actually.
Once a week.
7.
What?
Yeah, just this
Just
one.
this one.
because
I
it's
record a
podcast.
new one every day.
Oh,
Start.
It's just him. And then there's a second camera slot next to him saying "guests wanted."
help me! No, I get you.
That's actually a joke.
I did that one time.
Oh yeah, you did, dude. You actually did.
Yeah.
He actually did do that. I know. I actually thought that was like a dig at us. Like,
So,
I don't want to be on your
how
show
do you-
anymore,
how do
so
you-
just make my
So
own.
you guys are pretty wide cast. Do you two Belgian lads know each other
oh yeah,
beyond this
through
then?
through high school.
Yeah.
Through high school? Oh yeah.
And same with Eli, but he's not on this one.
Oh, okay. And so how do you know these two then?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, it's weird to say, but I brought the game.
He's a
together.
big fan.
yeah,
He was
I'm
a big fan
of
of
Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos has been making videos for like 7-8 years at this point.
What-
I reckon.
What's his channel called?
It used to be CMH777, I think.
No, it didn't.
Oh no, Trophy Hunters Gaming. Holy
Whoa,
shit.
don't say that name.
Now it's Carlo Hans with a Z.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
rebranded a couple of times.
A
I
couple,
rebranded
like 7
once.
times.
And
Once.
what is it now? Or is it?
It's
Carlo
it's
Hans.
Carlo House.
In all caps.
Yeah.
I'll do my best. So how do I spell that? Sorry.
Carlo H-A-Z.
Carlo H-A-Z, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see you. Oh, here you are. Hello. Wow, it's a lot of gaming shit. You haven't uploaded in 2 months. I don't blame you. I too struggle with that.
I keep telling you,
I'm-
bro, when are you gonna upload?
I'm working on it.
Professional
I'm
gamer.
That's what
is
he
your
said
banner.
for the last 2 months.
Your banner is professional gamer, and I'm inclined to believe you.
I am probably the biggest gamer here out of these guys.
You play a lot of shit. I'm gonna
You're
be
probably
very-
you're probably the biggest gamer here if you included me. To be fair,
I am an absolute degenerate. I just play games.
there is nothing wrong with just playing games.
No,
Oh
sir.
yeah, no, I'm not ashamed about it. I'm just
He's proud. Wears it like a badge.
You have got
Proud
some
gamer.
questionably anime-oriented subscriptions here, man.
oh, he clicked on my
That's
soul.
the first
oh,
thing
yeah.
you checked out. The subscription.
Uh,
Don't even check his Twitter likes, bro. Don't check him.
He loves anime.
Traumatized.
No, it's all safe. for work.
Traumatized.
Hey, it's safe for work, but it's just all anime.
I don't put any
He's got the
hentai.
alt account.
Okay, we're gonna have a look.
He's gonna have a look.
And then Cabe, basically, I just know him through a free-to-play Call of Duty ripoff
Yeah.
called Iron Sight. I just met him on there, and I was like, yo, this guy's kind of good at Call of Duty. So I added him. And then we just became friends. essentially.
Yeah.
Dude, you are
He
fucking
messaged
low-key
me, he's
horny
like-
on main here. My god.
It's not
Carlos, what are
horny.
you doing?
I'm appreciating good artists.
Mhm.
I follow a lot of artists.
Is that your word for it? Appreciation?
Yeah. I mean, every time they tweet out art, I
And
like it to support
You
it.
know what? You back it up pretty well. I'll believe you. For now.
Yeah.
For now. Don't catch him lacking.
Listen, if
I
I
will
was being horny, I'd be retweeting it. I'd be like, everybody, check this out.
Is that how it works?
Everyone, check out this anime bunda, please. I beg. Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah. Except that's not something I could see. Imagine if I did that randomly one day, just started retweeting hentai.
God, it's got to be so bizarre to not be like anime into
Sort of
like
left field.
gaming or
Imagine
like
just having
VTubers
it on
and to
your
be clicking
timeline.
on my profile.
Yeah.
That's
Make it
like
your pin
instant everything right there.
Yeah, I suppose so. But wow, this so so sorry. How did you met these guys through this guy? The guy who contacted me was named Bram. So,
Bram.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's me.
Bram.
been a
Bram.
fan of yours. Is that right? Like a viewer.
For like
Yeah.
7 years.
And so what about this fella? Cabe.
Cabe, I just met him on a free-to-play
Through
like a
a
Call of Duty
game.
ripoff on Steam
Yeah.
called Iron Sights. Like at this point, what, a year and a half ago at this point, I'd say.
Ah,
And he just
Uh,
like
And Cabe was initially like skeptical on being on the show. Definitely.
yeah, like it was
was
like
on and
6
off.
months after we met, and you were like, "Hey, you have a good mic. Do you want to be on a podcast?" And I was like,
That's the only requirement.
is that the only
This
qualification?
is a requirement. So Ethan, you're on the podcast. Welcome.
Peak. You just see
No
me streaming and go,
contract
"Hey,
required."
your mic is actually not us."
Exactly.
We started
There's
with
100 bits.
shit
Fancy
mics,
joining
dude.
us?
We started with shit bits. Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to like listen to the first episode.
It's
they
so
were
bad.
fucking horrendous.
So bad.
Ah, it's
It
all right.
sounds
You make
so bad.
you make progress. You've got a system going. Everyone records their own audio. That's good stuff. You know what I mean?
And Carlos at this point, he was our first guest back in I think it was episode 21. He was our first ever guest.
And you never let him leave.
Exactly.
You said you're part
And
of
now he's
Cosmik now.
become a permanent member.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, bro.
Yeah. No, I get you.
My biggest regret.
Oh, you love it, dude.
You spent
literally
7 years.
ended it.
Hang on. You spent 7 years playtesting for Ubisoft, and this is your biggest regret. How?
Something doesn't add up.
That's a good point.
He loves us.
I'm not sure to what extent I believe this, but that might just be a warning. You know what I mean? Abscond speeds. You might regret it if you don't. You might wind up locked in some cult. That's me. There you go. Sorry, that's my consultation of all of this. So,
Amazing.
yes. And so this podcast came together because you guys
We're extremely bored.
are extremely bored and all
When
enjoy
Corona
gaming.
happens.
And an
We were
entire...
all at
and a-
home.
We had the
And an
idea
entire-
of it earlier. Though.
And then you had the idea and went, fuck it, let's make it happen. And then a year later you hear like,
Cosmik originally.
I'm still
it used to
locked
be a
inside.
It was a school
but here we
project.
are. Oh, it's a school project?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. We had to make a kind of shell company. We had to make a shell company essentially to like simulate being a business.
Yeah.
And you had to like design a logo, and you had to like
So-
Wait, this is a shell company.
Hang on so
we
your
had, like,
school
a-
project was to create a shell company.
Not a shell
No,
company.
we
That's
just
not
had-
the term for it.
Yeah, we had
Like
like
a
a
fictional company.
we did like
Oh,
business
like
in
a-
high school, so we had to make like a company for one of the classes we took. You know, so
I say you've taken the project a step too far.
We were like a month into it. We were like, we gotta make shirts. We have to make shirts. And then we were just going to school in the Cosmik shirts. And the teacher was like, y'all's got matching shirts. And we were like, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
it wasn't
it's-
originally a podcast though.
It wasn't originally a podcast. And then like in May last year, I said like, hey guys, you wanna make a podcast? And they were like, oh sure.
Yeah, there you
I mean,
go.
we're all
Make a
at home
podcast.
anyway, so, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well-
we were all doing fuck all. So we just
Well, I get that. That makes perfect sense to me.
it's worked out.
No, I understand it. The Four Pillars podcast started at in like February, I think it was, or was it March? I can't remember, but it happened not too long ago, and that was good fun. Podcasts are fun. I've guested on them for years, and I've got a private one, as well. So starting one that's public was good fun.
Mhm.
So I'm very happy to come on podcasts because I enjoy talking to people, and so thanks for having me on for that reason anyway, because it's been good fun. You've got a good podcast going here, so
Hey,
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
don't let up.
I like hearing it. Thanks, man.
You like hearing it, of course you do. They
Really strokes the old ego.
you tickle the ego, you do.
100%.
We barely
Yeah.
have budget for anything, so don't even believe we paid you.
Yeah, I give our guests some bits now. Honestly, I've
Yeah,
started doing that.
Have you?
sometimes.
Yeah, I've started realizing that the more bits you give them, the more eager they are.
I didn't. I
did
honestly
so many
didn't.
bits,
If you threw any bits my way, I didn't even realize. Like you said, you sent me the email. You asked me to check it on the stream.
I think.
Yeah, you probably have, but I don't remember that. I saw the email. I saw you say check the email, so I checked the email. Saw your podcast and
Oh.
went, oh.
Mhm.
The first thing I noticed was consistency, and I went, yes, nice.
A
And
lot of
and then
guests
I,
have been saying that.
and I was like, yeah, why not? You know, fuck it. I do quite like
One thing I
going
do
on
want to ask
podcasts.
real quick is this is something that we don't really know. Where did our email land? Was it in your inbox or was it in like
It
you got-
landed
you got,
in
like, main? You got like other shit, and then you got spam, basically.
it landed in my primary.
Oh,
damn.
okay. We're in, boys.
It landed in my primary, but that's because you clearly don't spam people en masse with this stuff.
No, I think the most we email like is like maybe 10 people a day if we
Dude.
like make like a list basically.
We've
Yeah.
And we'll just be
barely-
like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It landed in my primary. I just didn't check it that day, and so or the day after. I don't think so. It took me a while to get around to actually seeing it. But you had to point out in that, and then I checked, and I was like, "Oh yeah, there it is. I got you."
Alright,
That was
sweet.
easy enough. I always enjoy seeing emails from people eager to, eager to make content, and that's always a good sign. You know what I mean? If you're dedicated to it, then that's all that matters, isn't it?
Mm.
And I sort of saw that through the consistency, because you upload these episodes once a week.
Yes.
Every week since
Wednesday
they
we started.
Yeah,
Well,
it used to
there
be
you
every
go.
Monday.
Since we
but-
started, haven't missed a single week.
Well, there you go. See, that's the thing I noticed, and I went, sure, let's lock it in. You know what I mean?
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap it here.
Yeah, that's
For
a
good
nice
90 minutes.
A nice
Solid
spot to wrap.
hour and a half.
All right,
Nice spot to
Ethan,
drop some bars.
Shout out your stuff. Where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube at Fizhy, Fizhy. It's an awkward spelling for fishy, but I promise it makes sense. On Twitch at Fizhy with an E on the end, so Fizhye. And on I have different socials and everything. And on Instagram it's Fizhy with 2 E's on the end, Fizhyee. And on Twitter it's my initials and my surname, so it's just EJ Woodgates. At EJ Woodgates,
right.
You'll find me there. And everywhere else, I run a podcast on the Four Pillars Network. Everyone probably knows how to spell the words four and pillar and network. And if you don't, then you're a pillock. And there you go. That's all my shit to plug. That's all there is to
all that is
plug.
down in the description, as always.
As always.
So yeah,
They haven't trademarked that yet.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, Ethan. We
No
really
problem.
appreciated it.
No problem at all.
Definitely.
If you've watched this episode all the way to the end and you're not subscribed, but you like what you heard or saw,
What in the fuck are you doing?
subscribe. Exactly. What the fuck are you doing? Subscribe.
They have my recommendation. Do it now.
All right. So yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. It really helps out with the algorithm and shit like that.
Yeah.
It helps pushing our content out to more people so we can expand our cult. Check out all of our stuff in the description. Personal channels, Twitter accounts, Twitch accounts, all that stuff's down there. There's a Discord server as well. Join that. You'll be notified of whenever we do anything by relentless at everyone's. But yeah, that's
Alright.
basically it.
Bye bye,
Thank you so
boys.
much for coming on, Ethan.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me.
See you
Bye
next
bye.
week.